Hi, subscribers. Okay, today's stories are going to be sort of about kind of criminal activity, I suppose. And anyway, let's just get on with it. Story number one. I picked up in Rosemead, and when I was heading over there, I got a text from the person who ordered the ride, and it was for a friend, and he said to pick him up at the end of the road. So I got there, I parked at the end. This kid shows up, gets in the front seat, puts the back of the seat all the way back, and then sort of looks like this and says, "Go, go, go, go." So I went, and that's when he says, "The cops are at my house. I'm not going to go back to jail." And I'm just like, okay, I never really thought of this sort of situation before. So at that point, I just drove. I didn't want to mess with someone who just got out of jail, like telling him to get out of my car or anything like that. So basically, I just did a little prayer saying, let's just get him to where he needs to go as quickly as possible and hope that I don't get in trouble. And so we drove to Union Station. And when we got there, once he realized where we were, he was like, no, 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 I cannot be dropped here. And I just lied at that point and said I had another ride, and this is where the destination is, so I'm dropping you off. And he did not like that at all, but he wasn't getting more from me, so he just got out of the car and then ran. I found out later that Union Station's right across the street from a police precinct, and I'm thinking maybe that's why he was sketched out about it, but that is where I was supposed to drop him off. So I guess I was the getaway car on that one. Ride number two. I picked this one up around Harupa Valley, and I was coming up to the car, and it was sort of parked on a corner. So like, when you're going to go forward and then you're going to turn, she was literally right on the corner. And it was like the worst place to pick someone up. But she was getting out of the car and she was taking the babies. She had two babies out. And one was about 2 or 3 or 4, I'm not sure. And he's sitting on the side of the road. And then she goes in and she grabs like a baby car seat. And so I'm thinking she broke down. So I pull up right behind her. I get out of the car. I start helping her put the kids in the car. And then I tell her that this is not a safe place. We can get hit. So I'm going to move. And then she can then join us. I'm going to move with the kids. And so she said that was fine. So I kind of moved into like a parking lot nearby. And I was watching her. And again, I thought she had broken down. But what happened was I saw her reach in the car, grab what appeared to be a nice watch, and then start taking this watch and wailing it on the ground and breaking it. And that's when I'm like, oh, I don't think she broke down. I think maybe this is baby daddy's car. She's going to leave it here. And I think that's more the situation. So she gets in the car. I start pulling away. And she's making calls to all these credit cards and trying to get this guy taken off the accounts, which you really can't do without the other person's approval. So I could have told her that, but I was not talking to her. So I dropped her off at her grandmother's, and there's my little baby, Augie. There he is. And so, and then Iggy. Iggy. Come here. Okay. No. And so then, dropped her off, but on the way to the house that I dropped them off at, the little boy was like, "Oh, mommy, I left my Game Boy," and she just screamed at him and said, "I told you not to leave anything, that's what you get, you're never gonna get it." I literally felt like going to a Best Buy and buying him a little toy. So that was kind of sad. But anyway, story number 3. Oh, so anyway, I guess with that one, rather than a getaway car, I guess I sort of was, but I also witnessed a crime. I didn't know what else to do. So the third story I have took place about a year ago, and it was the morning after a holiday, and it was about 4 a.m. And out here where I live, you tend to take a lot of people to warehouses to go to work at that time. So I pulled up on a street, and it was actually really busy with people walking, and these girls were crossing the street. And for the most part, I have my seats unlocked because I'm waiting for my ride, which I know is not really safe, but I've been doing this for 8 years, so that's sort of what I do. And the girls tried the car, and the door was locked. So at that point, I heard a shot, and I look, And there's this guy like standing in the road, but across the road. And I saw the smoke leave the gun. I saw the light, and he was shooting. These girls were desperate to get in. I don't think they were my ride. I decided just to pull away. And I turned around the corner, and sometimes I don't necessarily know how my brain works. So I actually pulled over just around the corner, thinking that I was still waiting for a ride, that they weren't it. I was just in a situation, and so I'm still waiting for the ride. So I'm sort of there, but I turn off my lights, and I'm trying not to be seen. And that's when I noticed a car coming from the street I just left. And when I was on that street, there was no other cars. So that made me really nervous. So at that point, I just turned on the lights, canceled the ride, and I drove out of there. I ended up calling the cops and meeting up with them within the hour and describing the situation. I found out weeks later that there was a shooting there, but no one was hurt. There was a few bullets left in cars and stuff like that, but nothing was really wrong. It was just someone who was really pissed off. But that was kind of scary too. So those are my 3 stories for today. I will tell you more on the next episode. So please like and subscribe. Let your friends know I have this channel, and I'll tell you more about my crazy stories. Thank you. Bye.